Right, it's recording.
Okay, cool. So, where do you want me to start?
Start at the beginning.
Okay, so on the 12th of February, earlier this year, San Bernardino Police Department or PD sent out the SWAT team, their SWAT team, because that's where the SWAT team for that city, goes or comes from. Excuse me. And so they sent them to our legal residence, which would be Jason's mother's home. And so they went there, but we weren't home at the time. So, and that was at around midnight. So they went and they searched I mean, they literally broke the gate, they broke the window, like just ridiculous things. Okay, like they spent 2 hours just tearing everything apart. Went through her cupboards. I mean, it was a mess, and we didn't know any of this was happening, obviously, when it happened. But after I guess they left, his mother texted us and said, "Hey, the SWAT team just came looking for you," and we were just like, "What?" It was crazy. So
Mm.
we hid out. We kind of just laid low for a while, for about a week, and we were staying with a friend. It's same kind of area, but we were nowhere near the house. Okay, um, that happened in San Bernardino, the city of San Bernardino. The next city over, which is like right down the street, is Colton. Okay, so we were in Colton and not in San Bernardino. So, like I said, a week went by. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice.
All right.
So that happened on the 12th, like I said, and then on the 20th, like about a week later, I was actually in a friend's vehicle in her car, sitting in her car by myself, and he was on actually the sidewalk. Okay,
Yeah.
we weren't in a house or anything. All I remember is because it all happened so fast. Okay, all I remember is I was sitting in the car and I was waiting for Jason to bring like something to me. I forgot what I needed. I think I was writing something or something. And so right when he got to the window to give it to me or whatever, all I heard was get on the ground, and I'm not kidding you. There was like tons of undercover cars with I guess would they be sheriffs? I don't know. But anyways, they weren't SWAT, but they were geared up and stuff, and they all had guns, and they had like I don't know what you would call it, like to like communicate with each other, like not headphones, but like some type of headset,
Yeah.
and so they got him on the ground and they put him in handcuffs and stuff, and but they still actually had him on the ground. Like they didn't handcuff him and then bring him back up. They were like messing with him still, kind of in a sense. So as soon as they did that, they came up to where I was and they were like, come out of the car, come out of the vehicle, come out of the vehicle with your hands up, right? So as soon as I put my hands up, I remember three huge men, or I don't even know if they're cops, I don't know what their name would be, but they grabbed me and they tackled me and they basically slammed me to the floor, on the cement floor.
Shoot.
And they had one of them put like his knee in my back, trying to handcuff me, and he's telling me stop resisting, stop, and I'm not resisting. I'm like literally my face is pressed into the cement. I'm like, I'm not resisting, sir. Can you please get off of me? And he's like, he just still was leaning on me with his his knee and stuff, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is a nightmare. So he put the handcuffs on me, and that's before he even asked my name. So he asked my name and he ran it, and I had a warrant from like 7 years ago. Okay, so they tell me I'm going to jail, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So they take Jason and they put him in one of the undercover cars, whatever, and I'm literally, there was not one single cop car in sight, not one, like a regular cop car, no, they were all regular like trucks and like SUVs and stuff like that. So they all I guess were following our car, the one that I was in and the one that Jason was in, to the jail, right? And the jail that we went to is called CDC. So when we get there, they take me out of the car and they have me wait like in the parking lot. and I see the car that Jason is in, and he's like literally right behind me, right behind the car that I was in, but to like the side. But they didn't take him out. They just kept him in the car with whatever cop or whatever. I don't know what would be their name. Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay, so they're not SWAT. So I guess they would be like, well, they were the
Yeah.
I'm talking now. Specialized Enforcement Division. That's what
Right.
their
Okay.
their agency is, right? So, but the thing is, they took me out. Okay, this is where I'm kind of like, what? So they take me out to book me, right? But they didn't take him out to book him. They left him in the car with the cop, and they were talking. I don't know about you, but I don't think that's, well, I mean, what is lawful, right? But wouldn't that be like, I mean, what if he said something to, I don't know, I'm just gonna say something wild here, like to self-incriminate himself, or who knows, maybe he was trying to make small talk and he just, I don't know.
Yeah, he
Do
could
you
have
understand what I'm
done.
saying?
He could have done easily,
Yeah,
because
but
they can take practically anything and turn it round and find something with it. If you,
yeah,
that's why you don't speak. That's why you're not supposed to speak to them.
yeah. So, but he was literally like sitting there, and I remember, so when they took me out of the car, the only reason why I even knew Jason was in that car was because when I was standing there, I was literally like staring into the window with my hands behind my back, still handcuffed. And all of a sudden I hear Jason call my name, and I'm like, what the heck? So I turn around and it's him. And it's because the cop had rolled down the window and he goes, come here. And that's the cop telling me, come here real fast. And I walked up to the window, and that's when I seen Jason just sitting there, like, and he was still handcuffed, but I was just like, this is strange, I don't know, I just thought that was something I never seen before. So I'm like, okay, and he's just like, oh, I just want to tell you I love you, whatever, and you're gonna be okay, or something like that, and that was it. So then they booked me, but I never seen them take him out of the car for like at least an hour, and I
Right.
was just like, huh?
That is unusual.
Yeah, very, right? So, I'm just something to mention, because I mean, hey, you never know.
Yeah.
So, so that was that. They booked me, and like I said, they didn't book me for the same charge. Mine was just honestly, it was for petty theft from like 2013. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was released. I was released the next day, and that was that. And now they're trying to basically just use his past against him because he's a felon. But ever since we've been together for almost like 8 years. Okay, he hasn't been on parole. He's been, he obviously he was free. Obviously he was free when they got him, so that should say something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's that, and that's basically what happened. So when I called today to talk to somebody, whoever, the lady, because it was a woman, she was telling me that obviously there was probable cause, meaning like, well, obviously they had enough to hold him or to even go after him because they must have. How else would they have? And I go, ma'am, you're not understanding. There wasn't. So that's what I'm trying to obtain. I'm trying to see how did they when there really wasn't, because I was there, because it never happened.
So you're saying there was no warrant out for his arrest?
No, there was a warrant. What I'm saying is they didn't. What probable cause? How? Where? When there's not even a police report and it didn't happen.
Well, they must have known where you were, been watching for you.
Somebody did.
Yeah. So their probable cause is because he had a warrant out for him.
Okay.
If he had a warrant out for him, if they had a warrant out for him, and then they found where he was, they'd go and arrest him, obviously.
Well, here's the thing. It was not a regular warrant.
Right.
Because a regular warrant is
Right.
a regular warrant. The warrant that they had for him was a RAMI warrant,
Which is what?
which is okay. So when with a regular warrant, they actually have to have probable cause, which means they have to go and have the judge, no, the DA sign it, right, and approve it, and then they go and they arrest whatever. With the Rami warrant, you basically bypass all of that and you just go straight to the judge, and the judge signs it, and then you wait for the DA to want to pick up on it or not. But that technically what that means is that you don't have enough evidence to get the DA to sign it. Do you understand?
And this was because of the alleged threats that
Yes.
Jason made in the
Yes.
hospital.
Yes.
So you're saying that they didn't have evidence of the threats,
Uh-huh.
so they've got this special
Uh-huh.
warrant where they don't need that
Yeah.
evidence,
Yeah.
right? So you were trying to get a copy of this warrant today, and you've tried before to get a copy of the warrant, haven't you? And you've been given a run round, and eventually
Yeah.
found out what's happened. I mean, how long did it take you to find out about the Rami warrant? That there was a special warrant.
Actually, it wasn't until recently, because I what I like to do is I like to really like read every single word and sentence, and just you have because
Yeah.
you can miss certain things, like, because
Yeah.
had I not known it, that's how things just like, oh, oops, or slip through the cracks, and that's just it. But this is a really big crack, in the story. So I think they would want to know how they did get the warrant to arrest him.
Right. You want to know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that.
I mean, no, but isn't that crazy? I can't. First of all, I can't even believe that even exists.
No. A warrant without probable cause sounds like an extraordinary thing. And then
Yeah, but
they've
that's
got a special unit to enforce those warrants, this special enforcement department,
Yeah.
to enforce warrants that don't have probable cause.
Yeah, it's an actual warrant, and that's craziness to me. That's
Well,
like,
it sounds to me, I don't know the American Constitution, but what I do know of it, it sounds totally unconstitutional. Don't they have to, according to the Constitution, getting back to the roots of law, without going into technicalities about this and that, you can't be arrested without probable cause, can you?
That's what I'm saying. That's the whole purpose of it, correct? So how do you, I'm gonna have to go and search. That's gonna be my homework tonight. Who in the heck got away with this? Who went and said,
Well, you need to look up.
How about we just forget about the whole thing? Huh?
I would look up this Rami warrant, whatever it's called. RAMME, is it?
Yeah,
Have you?
it's RAE. I'm sorry. Let me. RAMEY.
Rami warrant.
Yes.
Do you know what that stands
Yes.
for?
No, I don't.
Have you done any research on that Rami warrant so far?
Kind of, sort of. But not as much as I do everything else. But
Right.
I just.
I should
There's
try and
so much
find
going
out
on.
the origin of that, because it must be a US code, something subsection, chapter, blah blah blah. Where that
Yeah.
was enacted into law. It's probably a state law. You could find out if it's federal or state law. But it sounds to me like it's unconstitutional, especially when, as far as I understand the situation, there was no threat made. There was
No, and that's the thing.
obviously
So
if your child's just been taken off
basically
you, you're obviously going to be upset, but that doesn't mean to say you're making death threats or terroristic threats, whatever they call it. You're allowed to be annoyed when your child is taken without being arrested for making terroristic threats. I mean, my friend, we haven't spoken for ages now, and I don't know if we ever will again or not, but she found out that her two young daughters were being sexually abused by her ex-partner when he had them for the weekend, and she wrote a note on her Facebook page saying, "I'm going to bury you, you bastard, and I'm going to bury you at the bottom of my garden, so I know that you don't get out of the ground and come back and touch the children again." And she told me she'd done that within a couple of hours of doing it. I said, "Take it down, he'll use it against you." It was too late.
Yeah.
He used it. He accused her of making terroristic threats. She was sectioned. She lost the children. He's still got the bloody children. This is 6 years ago now.
That's what I'm saying. I wish that there was, like, at least that they would have that on at least, so they could get away with it.
Well, it sounds. I mean, you need to do some research onto this Rami warrant and find out whether it's constitutional or not. I would go down that line to start with. And there must be, I mean, even if it is, you know, you need to study the words of that what under what circumstances they can issue this special kind of warrant, and find out if the circumstances were appropriate or not, which I doubt very much why they were, because I can only understand that would be an extraordinary circumstances where you've got an armed lunatic making threats of taking hostages or something like that. You know, they could do something, but then in that circumstance you've got probable cause. So what is the issue of having an arrest warrant without probable cause? It doesn't make sense to me either at all.
Hello.
You're breaking up a bit, Bree.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So what should I mean, who do I write the DA or what?
Well, I think you need to do some research on this RAMI warrant, find out what the initials stand for, find out when it was enacted and whether it's federal or state, and then let me know what you found out, and we'll go from there. Yep. Should we do that?
Yeah. Do you want me? Well, I have a link to it, so you can.
To the RAMI warrant.
Yeah, it's kind of it explains everything.
Okay. Yeah. Let's send it to me. I'll see if I can make head or tail of it.
Okay.